guys, it's Kelly. Mari and I are back with another challenge layout, and today we are scrapping the boys. So I have these two photos of my son. He is in marching band, and their sections spray paint and design shirts each year. Just things that are jokes to them or part of the show that they're doing. So I wanted to scrapbook his shirt for this year, and I am going to come back later and add some journaling. I just need to talk to him first before I do the journaling because I want to make sure that I have all of the symbols that he has put on there correct. Actually, I don't know a couple of them, so we'll find out. But I thought that would be a fun layout for him to look back on at a later time. So I am using Cocoa Vanilla You Rock collection. I bought this and I really thought that I would love it, and I don't love it. I really like it, but I find that the papers are really, really busy and there's not enough for me, more neutral pattern papers. And the embellishments, like the wood veneer, I love the sayings, but they're huge. So I'm determined, though, that I'm going to use one of these big wood veneer titles, I can't talk. I'm determined, though, that I was going to use one of the big wood veneers as my title so that I could actually use one of them. I can, obviously use some of the smaller, ones, the stars, but I really want to get a couple of these big ones used. So as you can see, I have trimmed down some strips of pattern paper, and I have no idea right now where I want to take my layout. I know that I want to use the You Rock as my title, and I pulled out that wood grain paper because it is one of the neutrals that is in the collection. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do it, and I want something to try to be a little bit different, or just, I'm trying to stretch my creative juices, and they didn't feel like they were doing very much. They felt pretty stale, to be honest. So I do like the blue behind the photos. It really pulls out the blue in the photo on the left-hand side. So I want to keep that on the page at some point, and I like that blue and white diagonal stripe. It's just, like I said, these are some of the more less busy of the patterns, and I definitely wanted to try to see if working with some of the less busy patterns helped me make a page or a layout quicker. So I am going through the die cuts to see if I can find some that work for this page. There's a lot that, it's definitely a boy theme layout, which obviously I'm scrapping my son, so that works well. But, a lot of the things are boy, oh boy, and, or oh boys, saying things like that. So I didn't want to do too much of that. I'm trying to make sure that anything that I use with words, they're just a little bit different. So at this point, I am just trying to see if I want to have, a couple of strips of pattern paper and then fit my title down below. But I feel like this is something that would be pretty predictable. And, I keep on going back and forth about what I want to do. I left this in because I want, people to think, I know sometimes people think that pages just come together and they flow together pretty easily, but they don't always do that. And, it's okay to shuffle it around. I don't mind doing that. I actually enjoy it because I feel like it, for me, anything that I'm doing in my scrap room it's just fun. Of course, I want to be able to make a page quickly, but, some days just the inspiration's not there, your mojo's gone, and it's okay just to walk away from it and come back to it. So once I took away the blue pattern paper and then just left the photos on the wood grain, I really liked that. I felt like it lightened up the layout quite a bit. And I had I had to go away for a few minutes, and when I came back, I realized that I started matting my photos without turning back on my camera. So the only thing that you have missed me doing is just matting my two photos in that navy blue paper. And now I'm just taking my Heidi Swap Distress tool and just distressing the edges. Now, you don't have to use a distress tool to distress your edges. If you don't have one, you can use scissors. Scissors work just as well. I just happen to have this in my stash, so that is what I use. So I wanted to see if I liked that black and white pattern paper better than the blue, just to incorporate a different pattern, but I really like the way that this looks on the blue pattern paper. And I saw, when I, out of the corner of my eye, when I was scrapbooking, I saw this lightning bolt pattern paper strip. It is off one of the 12 by 12 sheets, and I thought that the lightning bolts would be a neat addition to the strips underneath the photos. Sometimes I have a hang up when it comes to mixing like a black and a dark blue, but I just decided for this page just to let it go. And I'm so glad that I was able to get out of my head and, you know, convince myself that it was fine, because it really did look good, and I do really like the way that the page turned out. So I'm just going to go through the sticker sheets and see what else I can possibly use. I really want to get a few of the things used in this collection, just because I feel like it is staring at me and laughing at me because I haven't used a whole lot of it. So that wood veneer, not the wood veneer, the flare is from A Flare for Buttons, and it just says cool, and I thought that it was a good addition to the page. I like the black just because it's in several of the embellishments, and you know, the font of it was a good font as well, and it repeats the circular element that I have going with hay. So I do like the way that this is starting to look now. I feel like it's getting balanced. I like the rubber piece that says "That's my boy." I like that layered on top of the "You Rock." It's not something that, you know, I set out to do. It was just one of those, you know, last minute little thoughts like, hey, I wonder how this would look. And I really like the way that it turned out. So I am putting some craft foam under that die cut. The A is for awesome. And I did that just to give it a little more interest, a little more depth on that cluster. And I'm going to go ahead and get things stuck down. I, you know, feel like I have messed around with this page long enough. It did take me probably closer to an hour and a half to make the page, and you know, when you look back at it, it's a pretty simple page. There's no reason it should have taken an hour and a half, other than me just trying to figure out what kind of design I wanted to use. If I had looked up a sketch for 2 3x4 photos, it probably would have gone much quicker. It was just one of those things that I just, you know, I was in the mood just to play. So that is what I did. So I am going back and putting my pieces down, and I'm just trying to see if I need like foam underneath. And I did feel like that the chipboard piece needed a little bit of foam, so I went ahead and put some foam squares to the right side of it. The foam squares and the craft foam are different thicknesses, and the foam squares are not as thick as the craft foam. So I find that I definitely can use both of them on the page. So I was just going through the wood veneer to see if there was anything else that I could use, and I just felt like it was either too much, or it was too much wood in the one area, and I wanted to just kind of space it out and give the layout room to breathe. I am going to come back and journal like I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to do that underneath the wood grain paper. So I'm going to actually scoot it up a little bit more. I'm just going to type it on the computer in strips and just cut them out and glue them below. So I hope you guys check out Mari's video as well. I will link that in the description below. I can't wait to see what she has come up with and see if she has scrapbooked about her husband or her son. I'm betting it's probably her son. I know that he is away and she is missing him terribly. So be sure and check out her channel and give her a little bit of love. We really appreciate any of the comments that you leave. I know that I speak for both of us when I say we read them and we try to respond to each and every single one of them. And just wanted to thank you again for that. If you guys have any ideas of challenges that you would like to see us do, be sure and leave that in the comments below as well. We do have a few challenges planned out for the rest of the year, but we are always open for suggestions. We have fun with this. We really enjoy each other's friendship, and we like to, talk about some of these things. So if you have a suggestion, please leave it for us. So I walked away, and I had to come back the next day to finish the layout, and I just wanted to show you that off camera, I just went ahead and I gutted out the pattern paper and I sewed around the edge of the white cardstock with black thread. And I did 3 passes around, and the reason why I chose to do a messier stitch and the 3 times around was because I felt like if I did one, that it would look too fine and dainty and it would be very clean cut. And the layout is a pretty clean cut layout anyway, but the A is for Awesome die cut has like a sketchy heart, and not a heart, the sketchy A, and I felt like that the several lines of stitching would play off on that sketchy part of it, and that it would just look better. So I also need to apologize for the lighting. I am not sure what happened with this other than I was filming at a different time and the lighting is remarkably different. That is one of the things that I'm trying to address soon. I just need money to get some better lights in so that the quality of my videos is up a little bit. So I'm just using my Scotch Tacky adhesive and gluing some of these Felicity Jane star sequins down, and this will finish up my page. So thanks so much for joining me today. I've got some close-ups coming at the end, and be sure and check out Mari's video. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.